Hello, grade 6. Welcome to our Tuesday video. I hope you had a great long weekend. With me, of course, is my co-star, Berkeley. Now, I should say to you that Berkeley was outside, Berkeley was relaxing, and because I know the people want to see Berkeley and not me yammering on, I had to bribe her to come back in. So when you do see her, you will notice that she is desperately seeking the treat that I promised her if she came in to co-star in the video. So without further ado, there's Berkeley, the co-star, yawning, sick of me not giving her her Treato yet, and her focus is laser-like. All right, Berkeley, thanks for coming in. There you go. Good girl. Eat Treato. It's delicious. Okay, so now back to the math. So we're going to keep going with algebra today. And for this week, I want to take a little look at order of operations, okay? It's a quick unit algebra, so we're actually going to finish it up this week. We've studied variable, okay? Hopefully you guys have a good sense of how to use variables in operations now. I also have talked a lot about the real-world applications, taking complex problem and breaking them down into simpler steps, which is a great tool that algebra gives us. And order of operations is defined as the rules that state the sequence in which the multiple operations in an expression should be solved. So this part I edited. A way to remember the order of the operations is PEMDAS or bedmas. Now I learned it as bedmas or bedmas, so you guys can take your pick, and I'll explain that in a minute. Wherein each letter stands for a mathematical operation. So what does all that mean? Well, remember I showed you this very complex intermediate senior question that you might get in grade 8 or high school? Well, here's maybe one down from that, okay? So this question here might be a grade 7, 8 question. Now, the whole idea behind bedmas or PEMDAS is, where do you start in an equation like this? Which one gets first priority? And bedmas is a way to do that. So bedmas gives you the tools to solve this equation in order. So let's talk about what each of these stand for. Brackets. Here are our brackets right there, so they would be first. What's next? Exponents. Well, an exponent is something you're going to learn in grade 7, but for the purpose of this, you should know that it's a power. So 1 to the power of 2 means 1 times 1. You guys can think of this too as squared. Remember how we saw squared? But this is an exponent for the purpose of this question. So that's what you would do second. Now, did Mr. Griffin make a mistake when he put 2 number 3s and 2 number 4s? Absolutely not. Because in bedmas, it depends on when the operation appears. So if division comes first, you do division first. If multiplication comes first, you do multiplication first. It's a tie. So division and multiplication is a tie, as is addition and subtraction, okay? So that's what they did in this question. They did the brackets first. 5 times 6 in the brackets is 30. And then they copied everything else down, because that's how you do it step by step. So the next thing they did was the exponents. Well, what's 1 times 1? The answer is 1. So for this step, the exponents are done, and you copy everything else down. So what's next? Division. Okay, and you guys get the idea until you go all the way to the bottom and you solve your equation. So that's the purpose of bedmas. Now, why is it also called PEMDAS? Well, I learned it as brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. You guys may learn it differently because the proper math terminology for this should be parentheses. So that's why it's changed. And why is it called PEMDAS instead of bedmas? Well, because it's a tie between division and multiplication. So all they did in PEMDAS, I'll even show you here, was They just replace the M and D in order, okay? But that doesn't really make a difference. So that's why we learn order of operations. And don't worry, we're not going to have to do a question this complex. We're not even going to have to do a question this complex. The reason I'm showing you guys order of operations in algebra is not because I expect you to be Einstein yet, or not because I expect you to teach your dog quantum mechanics yet, but because we're going to get questions like this one here, okay? So let me just show you. So in this question, which is an EQAO multiple choice question, which is actually going to be the basis for your assignment this week, and you guys can read about that in the week at a glance and on our posting sites. A classic question is this: which two equations are true if n equals 2? So they're going to have you replace all of the variables of n with the number 2. And you have to find out which of these equations, when you work them out, equal 5. So let me show you again what I mean and how order of operations will help you. So for one of these, okay, if you're trying to figure out if this one equals 5, let's take a look at it. N equals 2. So, all right, I started the question for us. So n equals 2, 4 divided by n plus 3 equals 5. That's the same thing that was here, okay? I'm just recopying it. So, let's do the question. All right, so now I'm going to put in the number to replace the variable. So if n equals 2, it's not 4 divided by n, it's 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 plus 3 equals 5. Well, how would I do this question? Would I go 4 divided by 5? Because 2 plus 3 is 5? That would make sense. And then you'd get your calculator and you'd get a decimal answer. Well, remember, in bedmas, division comes before addition. So the first thing you're going to do is 4 divided by 2. What's 4 divided by 2? 2. And then you copy everything else down. So yes, in this case, the answer is 5. So when you get a multiple choice question in EQAO like this, you know that equation 4 equals 5. Now, some of you might get all concerned and confused because you did 2 plus 3, 4 divided by 5. Well, that's a decimal answer. None of these answers work. But if you understand the basics of bedmas, this question becomes easier. And this is about as challenging as order of operations is going to get for you this year. But again, I wanted to teach you the principles so that when you do get to these types of questions, it's easier for you. You have some exposure to it, okay? You do your brackets first, then your exponents. Division and multiplication is a tie. Addition and subtraction is a tie. You do them in the order they appear. And for the purpose of grade 6, that's why you need to know it. Little questions like this so you don't get confused. So let's just take a look at one more. Equation 3, it says 4 times n plus 3 equals 5. Okay? So let's take a look at that one. Now, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to tell you right away, it doesn't equal 5. Okay? So remember, they're asking you for this question, which two equations are true if n equals 2? Well, 3 of these, they give you 2 choices here. So a couple of them don't equal 5. And this is one of them. Okay? This does not equal 5. But is the answer 20 or 11? Well, let's take a look. So I replaced the n with my 2. So I have 4 times 2 plus 3 equals 5. We know it's not true. We know it doesn't equal 5. But what does it equal? 4 times 2 plus 3. Well, how many people think it equals 20? Makes sense. 4 times 2 plus 3 is 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. And how many people think that the answer is 11? Hopefully a lot of people said 11 because of order of operations. I have to do the multiplication first. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. That's the proper way to do this question. So that when you do get a question like this, you're able to do the math. So let's just solve this one for fun. Okay, 4 plus 2 plus 3 equals 9. So this one isn't true. 4 minus n plus 3 equals 5. So 4 minus 2 is 2, plus 3 is 5. Equation 2 is correct. Equation 3, we already solved it. We know that it's 11. Okay, so it's not even in the running. Now, equation 4, we also solved, and we know that the answer is, in fact, 5. 4 divided by n plus 3, this is where we would use bedmas, okay? And we would know that 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then 2 plus 3 equals 5. So equation 2 and 4 are true if n equals 2. And that's how order of operations helps you, okay? And that's about the extent I'm going to teach order of operations for this, is you get introduced to it, you know why we have the formula, okay? We have simpler questions like this to prepare you for more complex questions, like this, and like this, so you can become a rich inventor or scientist like these guys with a devoted dog like I have. So that's the purpose of order of operations, okay? So just getting back to the assignment for a second. So this will be written down for you. But basically, you guys are going to get the challenge of doing 5 of your own algebra multiple choice questions, okay? Not copies of this, obviously your own. You're going to solve them. Now, you could do them for a grade 6 class, or you could do them for your reading buddies. Now, they both have to be well written. They both have to try and take into account concepts we learned about variables. And you'll see it on the Week at a Glance, and it'll be posted on our posting sites, the exact assignment. But that's going to be the basis for our algebra assessment, okay? Is can you write 5 good algebra multiple choice questions with all the concepts we learned, whether it be symbols or whether it be a little bit of bedmas, but also step by step, okay? Any of these types of questions are fair game, all right? So that'll be the basis of our math assignment. Okay, so that's it for the algebra today. Now, just one other thing I'm going to show you, and this will be for Wednesday. So it's not open right now. I repeat, it is not open right now. If you try to go on it, it is locked right now. But we're going to have a little discussion session, if you guys like. So on Wednesday, so tomorrow, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., that's 1 hour, just before lunch there, if you will, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you guys come on this site, don't come before, please. But if you show up anytime between 11 and 12 p.m., I'm going to be on, and we can have a discussion. I'm going to start the discussion. So on Wednesday, I'll post a discussion question here, and we can write comments to each other. They have to be appropriate. They have to be positive. You guys know the rules about that. But that's just one other thing I just wanted to leave you with, kind of a teaser trailer for Wednesday, is we're actually going to have a discussion of work we're doing, and I might have a few discussion questions for you. So that's for Wednesday's class. But for today, I want you to focus on what we talked about with bedmas, okay, so that we can apply it to questions like this, questions like this, so that we can solve questions like this so that we can complete assignments like this one, okay? So here is the actual assignment, and it's just repeating what I already said for you guys to do. So there it is there. So basically, you guys are going to make 5 of your own multiple choice questions and answer them, and they can either be directed at a grade 6 class or straightforward questions about variables in algebra to our reading buddies. And I know you guys will do a great job. And I took a little screenshot there of what we just saw. So that's it for today. Keep up the great work, guys. I know I say that a lot to you, but it's absolutely true. I'm incredibly proud of you guys for the amazing work you're doing, whether it be a new unit like algebra, whether it be a continuing unit like geometry, the science, the creative work. You guys are just amazing. Keep it up, and we'll talk soon. I'm excited about Wednesday too. Again, don't go on the site until Wednesday, but just a lot of great things going on. I'm really proud of you guys. So keep up the great work. Okay? All right. Berkeley really wants to go outside, so Mr. Griffin out, and we'll chat soon.